And we welcome you back to the Real Estate Radio Show featuring Chris Lofthus of the Chris Lofthus Group. And Chris, I know you've been talking about our next guest for some time. It's Curt Holtan, who's the area manager of Prospect Mortgage. And what was it at first, thinking back to when you first teamed up with Curt, that you said, I need to work with this guy more and have him work with my clients?
Well, we worked with Curt. Originally, I've been here about 5 years now, and we keep going back to that same thing. We talk about quality, Dave. You and I have always talked about the whole getting good, having good team around you, not just my team, but just in general, from title to, lending. And that's kind of when Curt and I met up about 4 years ago, and Curt's done some deals for me. And the fact is, everyone keeps hearing different scenarios from these lenders, and, Curt's going to give you the honest truth straight up.
Well, Curt, there you have it. Great lead in. Welcome to the show today. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Curt, as far as how you got to the Treasure Valley and your background a little bit.
Well, Dave, I'm originally from Montana. I moved here in high school, so I've been here since the mid-'80s. I won't give away the age, but my father was my mentor in the industry. He retired after 38 years in the industry, and I learned a lot of good things from him over the years. Always an industry that I knew I wanted to get into, ever evolving, getting to deal with clients on a daily basis and help people achieve the dream of home ownership was really something, that I take to heart as far as helping people out that way. So.
Yeah, and Curt, it means a lot to me, and I know Chris has talked about this, the people that have, in essence, made it through the tough times, because there was a time, I don't know what kind of testing they did for mortgage loan officers and elements along that lines, but I look at it now and say, hey, if you're in the business, you must know what the heck you're doing. I'm just looking down some of the elements here, Curt, from the FHA, the 203K, overall lender in the nation. Your company carries great credibility. Share with our listeners some of those pieces.
Well, Prospect Mortgage is the largest independent held mortgage banker in the United States, and the differentiator there is we're not an FDIC insured entity. We're not a depository. We solely do mortgage banking. So that is the differentiator between us and say a bank or a local bank or another lender out there. We're the only independent lender that has access to the Fed Home Loan, which is a resource that the big institutions go to get their money. We're the only independent lender that has that ability. And with that ability, it allows us to bundle our loans into securities and sell them on the secondary market. And they're called Ginnie Mae pools. So we pull millions of dollars into those pools as resources to sell our loans. We also are a servicer, and our servicing portfolios in the billions, not millions,
wow,
but billions.
With a B.
With the B, yeah. We're Fannie Mae's HomePath's number one lender as far as real estate owned by Fannie Mae. A lot of people have heard of HomePath. Those that haven't, it's a great resource for a loan as well. It allows for lower down payment requirements as well as no mortgage insurance, which is a thing of the past. Everyone was afraid of mortgage insurance, and that's how you came up with 80/20s, et cetera, to avoid mortgage insurance because it's an additional cost to your loan. So some great programs out there that are available. HomePath Lending, REO Financer. It's updated now through 2009 through 2011. We are the largest REO financer in the United States as far as we've financed more homes than anyone else in that arena. So we're really good at it, at what we do.
Curt, by the way, if you want to check out his website, it's yourloanontime.com. Curt, I had a chance to look at this site earlier today. Tells a little bit about Curt. You can also get him at 377, that's 7740. We'll say this number again, 377-7740. Chris, what's the piece that Curt brings to your team? Is he really fast? Is he really knowledgeable? Is his skill set? I'm guessing it's all of the above, but if what would be the one piece you'd say about Curt Hold and his team?
Well, his history, and how long he's been in the business, and like he said, is mentored by his father, who was also an excellent lender. The thing with Curt is, we talked about this, and Curt can go ahead and chime in here too. He talked with last week. He said to me, he says, you know what, we can get these buyers as long as they get me their information. We can get them in that house and closed and wrapped up in 2 weeks. They have, you guys have in-house underwriting. right there next to Curt. So the loan and all the financial aspects of it aren't bouncing all over the United States where people are missing pieces, and we get to the close of escrow, and Curt's not going to call you and say, "Oh, we're missing what part of your documentation." He's going to tell you what we have, what we need, and he'll hit the date. And I'm confident in the fact of Curt's ability to, when he says he's going to do it, he'll do it.
And Curt, you and I were discussing before the show. You said there's a big difference between a bank and between what I do with my mortgage company and somebody. I think you used the analogy like a stockbroker, where people call the bank, say, "Well, what are rates today?" And it's kind of changed. Well, not kind of. It has changed from the past. So share with our listeners that skill set specifically. I use the analogy, you're a specialist. This is what you do. You don't give car loans. You don't give truck loans. I mean, you focus on homes.
Yeah, it's kind of like going into a neurologist and then deciding you have knee surgery out of the deal, right? So you want the specialist. In our arena nowadays, mortgage bankers are highly trained professionals. The ones that are still in it have taken extensive education, ongoing continuing education every year, as well as background checks, federal background checks, fingerprints, credit checks, and that's on a yearly basis. So one thing I really, and Chris touched on a little bit as far as prospects. No, we can't guarantee 2-week closes every time. We do have a 21-day guarantee close that prospect.
See, there's that realtor guy.
He's trying to push it up a little bit, see how much we can really qualify for. But one thing with the 21-day guarantee close, a lot of clients nowadays need to understand, Dave, you touched on a little bit with just calling a bank and saying, "Hey, what's your best rate today on 30-year fixed?" Well, the industry has done a 180 as far as the lending side. People need to understand that they need to be able to present all their documentation, their full story to a lender, so they can fully understand as a professional what their needs and wants are to provide them with the best program available to them out there. A lot of programs out there that people will qualify for, and if they don't provide us with the documentation up front, you can't give an honest rate answer. You could call up 10 different people today and ask them for their best 30-year rate, and you're probably going to get 10 different answers. But until you've actually given them the full portfolio of what you have there, nobody can give you an honest answer. And that's one thing that I think consumers need to be educated on, is that they need to be able to, I call it the 2, 2, and 2. Give us 2 years federal tax returns, 2 years W-2s, 2 years bank, or 2 months bank statements, and 2 pay stubs. That gives us a more accurate picture of what their finances are and what program will be available to them.
You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Show featuring Chris Lofthus of the Chris Lofthus Group. Our special guest today is Curt Holtan, who is involved with Prospect Mortgage. He's the area manager. You can check his website at yourloanontime.com, or you can call him at 377-7740, 377-7740. When we come back, we're going to find out what you can expect as a buyer as far as getting a home loan, what you can expect on the phone. And Chris, I also know there's a couple of particular products that we had kind of teased going in there that we're going to have Curt talk about as well, that people not only were they not aware of, but they weren't available a few weeks ago.
Right. Well, they haven't been available for a long time.
Right.
And I think that's one of the big things about Prospect Mortgage and Curt, and my belief in what he does is the fact that Curt's out there working it every day. Like we said, he's not doing car loans. He's not doing different types of loans. He does home mortgages, refis, and the point with that is that Curt's always looking at what products are out there. He's looking beyond the what's going on right today, what's coming in the future, and so he can fit those. He puts things together for the buyer or the refi so that they work and it comes out to, like we said, a happy ending and everyone gets great service.
If you want to reach out to Chris, you can check out his website, chrislofthus.com, Lofthus. That's chrislofthus.com. Or you can send him an email, contact us at clgeagle.com, or reach out to the team, 350-6228, 350-6228. You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Show featuring Chris Lofthus of the Chris Lofthus Group. When we come back, more from Curt Holtan, in particular focused on, hey, I want to get a loan. What am I going to go through? He's one of the best in the region. We'll coach you up on that and more right after this timeout.